Today I'm hoping to go to CEX and get a game that has been there a while, that I've been looking at for a while, but I've just not been filming. It's been a bit of a weird few weeks. It's been a bit of a weird month. Maybe one day I'll tell that story. Who knows? But yeah, today I'm going to trial something a little bit different. In fact, I'm going to start including little bits of different stuff in these videos anyway. I might start including more of the fitness stuff than I used to. Maybe more of the social media stuff. Because I obviously I mentioned that I do the TikToks, and the TikToks are my big platforms. And it's interesting, right? A lot of people on TikTok will think that your following on other platforms comes from wherever your biggest platform is. So, for example, my biggest TikTok has like 480,000 followers or something like that. People will then assume that because of that, that all 29,000 of you guys over here are from TikTok, when guarantee a vast majority of you are not. Same thing goes with Instagram. It's on like 99,500. Vast majority of those not from TikTok. In social media, you will always struggle beyond belief to get people to move to the different platforms. You would struggle to get people to follow a different account on the same platform. Like, for example, if I had another YouTube account right now that I wanted you guys to go and follow, and I asked you to, the majority of you wouldn't. That's human psychology with social media. And I've been doing social media full time now for not far off 6 years, which is kind of a nuts thought, as we approach 2026, I suppose. And there's a lot that I could talk about in regards to that, because I've kind of done it in multiple different niches. Like, my first 500,000 followers was in fitness TikTok. Like, this house was paid for through fitness TikToks, or at least my portion of the house, or all of it soon. And then I pivoted into the gaming stuff and made it work there. And you just keep making things work. And I just think it'd be interesting to talk about stuff maybe a little bit more frankly, and just sort of spitball thoughts. Yeah. Anyway, it's about 24 degrees. And I'm pretty sure the car is going to be molten. So I'm going to get in the car, and we're going to head to CEX. I've not checked the stock checker in bloody ages. I've not been buying anything for like a month, really. I'm really hoping that the game that I want to buy is still there. If it's not, then whoops. I'm going to try out a different kind of TikTok as well. I'll talk about that later, so I don't bore you. But yeah, let's go. It's pretty moist. It's not the 32 that it was like a week ago, but it's still sort of humid. I've been taking myself on lots of walks. I've got a bit of a tan, and I never tan. Like, I've been a lot of talking out loud on lots of long walks. It's a thing. Yeah, let's go, I guess. Oh, it's warm. It's very warm. Aircon on. Maybe I'll start doing those more road trips when I have more free time. Yeah. Right, what am I doing? I'm walking into town. I'm doing like 10 TikTok drafts. I'm getting, hopefully, that game that's been there bloody ages that I keep looking at and going, I'll buy it when I film. At least I've done that, because I used to make that mistake like a year and a half ago, where before I started doing these videos, I would buy stuff without filming and then be like, should have filmed that. Balls. Trying to get better with that. Whatever. Let's go. Running out of fuel. Not my car. My car's running out of fuel. We're on the same amount of fuel. Don't know how that's happened. Whatever. Another fuel notch gone. Why do these cars lie? There's like, right, so a full tank is about 8 notches. And those first, say, I don't know, 2 notches, maybe 3, is like 3/4 of your tank in reality. And then the last like 5 notches, they go brum. You move off your drive and everything's just gone. Speaking of moving off your drive, I need to stop going places at 3 o'clock. I don't know why I do this. I do it every time. I've moaned about this before. I've said this before. I know I have. Every time I go anywhere, it's at either 3 or 5, in which case, both of which are the worst times to travel through a town centre that is notoriously bad for roadworks. But it's fine. We move. And if I had a quid for every time I've said that this month or this last week, I'd be very rich. We move. Let's go. They've had some kind of cool collector's editions for a while. Got a Batman over here. 50 quid. It's very small though, and it looks almost sun bleached, which, you know, it's in the window, so I'm kind of not surprised. And then over here, a Bioshock 2 one. It's only 50 quid. It's pretty cool. Massive though. Ain't got space for that. God of War Collector's Edition, kind of cool. They've put the steelbook at the back. Probably a smart move. Again, sun bleached. It has been very sunny recently. Seems like a risky thing to put stuff in this window. Right, let's go in, shall we? So I think this is the first time I've been in this CEX on YouTube anyway, since the Switch 2 came out, and there's tons of Switch stuff, and it's all very expensive. I saw a £70 Mario game in here the other day, and I thought that was insane, especially being as it's probably about that, if not maybe even less, brand new. Loads of Pokemon Ruby, just cartridge though. I want the box at some point, and the Sapphire box to go with my Emerald box. They'd be cool. They got a reprinted Black 2 back there for £110, and I still think reprinted covers should be way cheaper. But it's a case of they'll never do that because it would have to be itemized separately, and it would just basically double the amount of listings on the website. It would be a lot of work. They'd never do it, especially when there are some people out there that will buy it without caring. Dino Crisis 2 facing me just up and forwards like that. It's a difficult one to not buy because I'm very obsessed with dinosaurs, and I don't really collect for PlayStation 1. I've got maybe 7 PlayStation 1 games, but there are a couple others that I would like. Dino Crisis and Dino Crisis 2 being a couple of them. We'll get them at some point, potentially, perhaps. A lot of forward-facing stuff, and I was taking a look at how the price of some PlayStation 5 games appears to have dropped straight down. Dragon's Dogma 2, Sparking Zero. Sparking Zero is not even a year old, and it's down to 35. I see a lot of drama about Sparking Zero all the time. At some point, I need to buy a physical version of Black Myth Wukong, because that was a digital game. I hate that. I hate this current trend of games releasing digitally for months prior to them releasing physically, especially when playing games is part of my job. It's something you can't do. I also do need to get Assassin's Creed Shadows physically one day as well, because I don't have that physically. I got that gifted to me by Ubisoft back when that came out a few months ago. The Prince of Persia HD collection is still here. That has been there for ages, and I'm surprised because that is a really good price for two really good games and one okay game. Sorry, Warrior Within. Go back and play the 3 of them back to back. You won't like Warrior Within as much as you think you did as a kid. Trust me. You liked it more as a kid because it was edgy and hardcore, but if you played it now as an adult, and especially played them back to back with Sands of Time and Two Thrones, you'd realise that Warrior Within is actually the weakest link of the 3. But yeah, still, it's an okay game. It's just surrounded by 2 great games. And that HD collection for it for the PlayStation 3 has been in here forever. Does anybody remember that 5 years ago there was a trailer for the Sands of Time remake, and then it just hasn't happened? It's a really good thing that Yuri Lowenthal is such a prolific voice actor, because I'm sure he'll be 97 and still come back and do that role. I'm sure he will, but it's getting on. I don't know, I saw an interview with him the other day and he looked a lot older than I remember him looking as Sasuke. And even in Spider-Man 1 back in 2018, he looked significantly younger. But yeah, some cool stuff today. We'll see what we come home with, shall we? Okay, town was a bit rammed. There's some sort of dance/food festival going on. I really couldn't have told you, but on my way back through it was pretty packed and I had to take a bit of a weird alternate route to get out. But hopefully what I did with TikTok worked. So for context there, TikTok, the way that it pays you is based upon whether it determines you to get what's called additional reward. There's a flat rate that it pays you per 1,000 views, which in and of itself also goes up and down. But then that's standard reward. But then there's something called additional reward, where it basically will triple what it pays you. It will add double what you've already been paid on top of what you've already been paid. So say I make a video, say that video does 100,000 views. Say that pays me 30, 40 quid standard reward. If I get the additional reward on top of that, it will add 60 to 80 quid on top of. It will triple basically whatever you would have been paid for the video. Now, there's also some weird momentum-based system I've observed with this, where if you don't get additional reward even once on a video, you might not get it for the next 10. And the thing that determines whether or not you get additional reward is so weirdly arbitrary and just not true in loads of instances. It basically gives you a blanket answer of you get additional reward if you make high quality content that's very well engaging, right? Which is very vague, because a video that does say 500,000 views on TikTok is by definition highly engaging, else it hadn't, or else it would never have gotten to 500,000 views. That's just how TikTok works. So it's weird to me sometimes how I'll do two videos that will perform in exactly the same way, that'll be in a similar topic. And that's another thing, is additional reward is to reward you for staying in a certain topic. Like, it wants you to niche down and just stay on a topic. So like, for example, I've observed that as long as I start my videos in CEX, as long as my videos are in CEX, I seem to get the additional reward pretty much every time. But the problem with that means is that I can't make videos at home anymore and get paid properly for it, which is really frustrating, because I used to be able to do that. Which means that now I've got to actually go into a CEX anytime I want to film productively. So what I'm trialing this week is I've just recorded the first, say, 20 seconds of each video in CEX, and then I'll record the second bit of it at home, because obviously there's a lot of kinds of videos that I can't make if I'm limited to only recording at home. Like, I'd like to talk about games I already own more often, for example, rather than just stuff in CEX. But you can't do that if you start the video in a CEX and stay in there the entire video. So I'm thinking, if I start the video, because every video has to be at least 60 seconds to get paid, full stop, that's another rule. I'm thinking, if I just start each video in CEX and sort of set the topic and garner the initial engagement that creates the watch time from being in there, and then from then on continue, say, back in my office, back in the game room. Oh, that was close, somebody nearly crashed. Maybe it'll work and I'll be able to more easily come up with videos. We'll see, who knows, but I'm gonna have to figure it out, because it's the additional reward thing's ridiculous. It's the equivalent of, like, every time you go to work, you're supposed to know what you get paid. You might do the exact same amount of work, but occasionally they'll triple it. Or 6 days out of 7 they'll triple it. But you might, for some reason, not get it on that 7th day, just randomly every few weeks, and then just not get it again for the following 2 weeks following that. And it's like, you're doing the same amount of effort into whatever it is you're creating for different amounts of reward, which is just the frustrating part of TikTok. Whereas YouTube is very consistent. If you look at all of my videos on YouTube, I will earn about the same every video I do, pretty much, except for like the big ones where, like, I'll do something special. Like, for example, if I go and buy a £500 game and that video does twice as many views as an average video, then yeah, I'll earn twice as much. But like, that's predictable. TikTok is not predictable, or at least not as easily predictable. I can kind of predict it because I've made something like 30,000 videos in the last 5 years. Like, genuinely, I've made that many, because I remember I'd made 10,000 by the end of 2021. So by now it's got to have been more than that. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I don't know how much any of you care about it, but especially at the minute with how I am with my personal life, I'm going to just be talking at the camera more often, even if it's not necessarily on the topic of game stuff, just because it's going to be helpful to me. But yeah, let's head home. Yeah. Okay, I'm home, and Ruby wants to see what we've got, because she's under the impression it's for her, because she thinks everything's for her. Don't you, Rubester? Little silly sausage. There's nothing in my hand. What is? It's not for you. It's not for you. It's never been for you. If you can get the bag open, you're welcome to have a look. Hey. Let me... Ruby. Excuse me. Can I... Oh, you want the receipt, do you? Okay, you can have that for now. I'll be with you in a second. Right, so today we bought Monster Hunter. I think this is the original Monster Hunter. It's in good condition. I've never seen it before. Rubes, do you mind? And then I also spotted this, which I don't already have. Street Fighter X Tekken. It must be decently rare, because I just never ever encounter it. Ruby. Oh, here we go. You're going to have to give that to me. You can't keep it. Alright, I know what to do. We'll trick her. We'll get some treats and we'll trick her. Oh, what are these? No. No. Okay. Ha! Stupid. There's another treat for you, if you want to come and get it. Come here. Don't walk across my games, please. Good girl. Paw. Both. You. Good girl. So yeah, just the 2 games today. 50 quid. Not bad. It's been a while since I've bought anything, so yeah, tons of TikToks too. There's other stuff on the agenda for today, but we'll keep that for now. Yeah, I think that's about it for today. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to cover. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let's try and get back in the swing of things. And I'll see you all in a bit.